YouTube, we fucking lit. What's going on? As always, fuck monetization. This video is for y'all. I wanted to distill the most important lessons about business for all of you guys to successfully scale and potentially exit. If you don't know me, my name is Robert Oliver, Rob the Bank on social. I built a supplement company from zero to over $100 million in 4 years. I exited that business when I was 26 for tens of millions of dollars. I'm currently running and operating a brand portfolio that does 85, 90 million per year. At least that's our run rate. We should exceed well over 100 by the end of the year. And this video is just like straight off the cusp. I got my iPhone notes. I want to bring the most advanced business knowledge I can to you as a potential beginner. See, we have our venture arm as well at Nonstop, which is my whole kind of holding company, if you will. And we've been doing a lot more investments in some of my students' brands this year from Million Dollar Brand Club. And that was able to give me a really clear lens of somebody trying to build a business from zero to $10 million. There's a lot of different pieces of this equation that I picked up over the years, building the Genius brand, what I'm doing now. And I just wanted to bring that forward for you guys to lock in, add those pieces to your business so ultimately you can achieve that exit one day. So without further ado, I'm going to put this through the lens of what an investor would look at. And this could be someone like me who's coming in with a couple $100,000 to take a piece of the business, help you scale. Or this could also be exiting the business entirely to private equity, because that is the big goal. But a lot of these factors remain true. Now, if you're new and you're just starting out, business can be generally confusing. So let's start right at the ground floor. Number one, the most important thing that I know everyone needs: clean books and accounting, okay? This often gets overlooked. People will open an LLC or sometimes they'll run the business in their own name. You need a separate corporate entity. That could be LLC, that could be S Corp, that could be C Corporation, a lot of different reasons for each one. And then you need a clean set of books from the beginning. And there's so many reasons for this. I mean, most importantly, at the top of all of it, not only is that what institutions look for, but that is the language of business. Accounting is the language of business. It helps you get a clear picture of what's actually going on, okay? So you have your clean entity, and then you open a set of books. And there's a lot of different ways to automate this stuff nowadays. QuickBooks is phenomenal. That's the go-to. There's a new software called Finaloop that we use at our companies that automates a lot of the transactions from Amazon, TikTok. It just like pulls it in and helps you reconcile a lot faster. But as a beginner operator, this stuff might be annoying. It might be out of your wheelhouse. You might not have an accounting degree. It might be one of the first things you hire for. But I'm telling you, in the beginning, take the time to learn and appreciate how this stuff works, because it's so important. Like when I'm coming in to invest in a business, I want to know what the numbers look like. And for you, you can tell whatever story you want about the business, but is it making money? Are the unit economics sound, right? So you need to figure out your cost of goods. You need to figure out how to categorize marketing expenses. You categorize, obviously, your point of sale. And all of these different things flow together to create a P&L, profit and loss. You also have a balance sheet. You need to be able to read a balance sheet. You need to be able to read a profit and loss. All of these different components are what ultimately sets you up to get to that level. You're not going to sell a business for tens of millions of dollars without financials, and you're actually going to have a hard time raising money, okay? So that basic infrastructure, that is what starts to establish like true entrepreneurship. When you can read a P&L and you know how finance works, that gives you the building blocks to build up and ultimately scale your business. It's super important. So that brings me to number two, okay? And again, this is me looking at this through Nonstop Ventures. I want to invest in your business. How am I thinking about it? Your unit economics need to make sense. What is your product cost and what are you selling it for? I'm typically looking for businesses that have some level of scale. I'm usually looking for like 2x cost on your gross profit. Now, your gross profit is simply that, your sale price versus your cost of goods. And then all of the marketing, all of the other things that we need to make that work, we work backwards on. And every industry is a little bit different here, right? Like distributors can work off 10 to 15% or points. Whereas if you're building your own brand, I like that 2.5 number. And there's a lot of different intricacies on this. Percentage can be often misleading, because if you're selling a product for $10, you're only making, and it costs you $2, and you're only making $4 per unit, which might be 50% gross profit. Math isn't my thing. But you see where I'm going with this. The per dollar amount matters when you're paying for keywords, when you're paying for traffic. If people are bidding $5 for a keyword on a product that costs 10, it's almost guaranteed to not work. So I'm looking at that gross profit percentage or a dollar amount. And there's a lot of different ways to engineer this too, right? If you have a $10 product and you're doing e-com, you should probably be selling a 3-pack. All these different components really add up. And so that is you have your accounting, and then you have your profit or your unit economics. And those are kind of the foundation that you can build a business on. All right. The next thing I'm looking for, I think when everyone starts out, they're looking for all of these different ways to scale. They're looking at all these different levers to pull, right? Like I want to be doing Facebook ads. I want to be doing TikTok, influencers. And a lot of that's bullshit. All I'm looking at from an investment standpoint is, do you have a means of scale? Is there an avenue where you can put a dollar in the machine and make multiple? And this is arguably the most important component of business. This is more important than the accounting, because at the end of the day, if you don't have a means to scale, you're not going to do shit. I mean, period. I can't tell you how many great ideas have died because they had no means of scaling up. It's called the graveyard fallacy, right? Or the shipwreck fallacy. It's how many great brands, businesses, or stories are laying at the bottom of the ocean because they never found a way to cross that ocean. So when I'm coming in as an investor, I'm going, how are these guys scaling and how scalable is it, right? Not every avenue of scale is limitless. Maybe you have a real edge in Facebook ads. I know guys building a coffee alternative supplement brand. They're wicked in Facebook ads. They bootstrapped it to 100 million. That is a clean means of scale. Top Shelf, one of my main brands. We had an edge with TikTok. That scaled us to, again, double-digit millions, right? And so you as an operator, you are just seeking to find that means of scale. It's very, very important. All right, the next thing I'm looking at here too, and this is another one. This is more personal. This is more mindset. But what is the operator like? And I realized a lot of my criteria as I think through making more investments and all of that, it really kind of resonates with what the Silicon Valley guys are thinking about, what Peter Thiel's talking about. But for one, there needs to be a relentless nature. When Kobe Bryant retired from the league, he became like a full-time investor, right? And he invested in Body Armor, and he was an active member of that team, right? I think he was on the board, but he's texting the owner at 4 a.m. because that's Kobe, right? When he's in something, he's all about it. And the owner's hitting him back just as fired up, right? Because he's fucking about that. And at the end of the day, you need to treat this business shit like a sport. You need to have that Mamba mentality. You need to be locked in. And so I test people like that. Like, how much does this person really want it? Are they on some work-life balance shit, or are they really trying to make it happen? And that's an uncomfortable question. But when you look at all the great Silicon Valley investments and you look at all of just most of the great businesses, that obsessive nature, it tends to be ubiquitous with a lot of different founders. And so that's kind of my first piece. The second piece I'm looking for, intelligence is important, but I want that person to be curious. I really want them to be the dumbest one in the room, right? Because often with that hunger, you have someone young who has this tenacity and they're bringing it, but I don't want them to feel like they know all of the answers, right? Someone else has the answers for how to help them scale, and they need to go get those answers. So this ties back to just general personality, charisma, how they approach all of the little things, and ultimately, like, do they have that student mindset while still being obsessive and hungry? And if you combine those two traits, I'm telling you, it is impossible for you to not ultimately break through one day, right? It's the same athlete shit. Like, bring it every single day. Now, will you be a billionaire? No, not necessarily. A lot of things need to go right? But can you build yourself a multi-million-dollar business? Can you change your life forever? Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I just wanted to bring this off top. This is a video I was feeling I needed to make. This is for $1 Million Brand Club. This is for my community. This is for the students. This is for the world. But if you like this, let me know. I can bring more raw, just kind of off the top. Like I said, I've been doing this 9 years. If you have any questions, drop them below, any video ideas. A lot of this stuff has come second nature to me. And so it's not until that I'm active, kind of in the trenches, that I am reminded of the pieces that need to come together. There's great businesses without accounting. There's accounting without a means to scale. There's great products without any of it. And at the end of the day, economic progress drives everything. So I want to see everyone build and create and just raise the boat here. Let's rob the bank.